Hi, welcome to Brady's Blunders, where I share the mistakes in my games, hoping you don't make the same ones in yours. This is the fourth episode of the Sibicky Chronicles, or a review of my recent game with Nick. And in this one, I'm going to talk a little bit about a bad probe, and then also a position where the result is either going to be a good position or a devastatingly good position. And needless to say, I didn't get the latter. Hope you like it. All right, White's next move was over here, which is a good move, and it's big, and I don't think anyone would really complain about it. But let me talk about this continuation here for just a moment. This is the normal continuation from this Sibicky. And in a normal situation, it's considered 50-50. It's equal. So White plays here, and then Black comes out, White extends, and Black makes shape. White goes ahead and touches the strong stone, Black extends, and then White jumps to the center. And in a normal situation, like I said, this is even. But here, it's better than even for White. Because White's saying to Black, hey, you know that thickness you got? Well, I got 25 points in the corner, and I took away this corner, and with this move, I am saying you're going to get almost nothing in the center, and then finally, I've successfully split your right-hand side. So even though this exchange doesn't look that big, you can see it really is telling Black, what are you getting for your thickness? Because it looks like a whole lot of nothing to me. Again, that said, there's nothing wrong with White's play here. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for my next move. I jumped into the corner, and when my teacher saw this, she said, yeah, that's the kind of move that looks clever. And by extension, what she means is it looks clever, but it's not. And let me explain why. When White plays A, it's one move further than normal, the regular enclosure. And the regular enclosure says, I really want the corner. I want the points in the corner. The move at A says, oh, maybe I'll get the corner, but I really want to be one stone further. And when I play A, I accept that Black will be able to jump into my corner and take it away. So it's a give and take. If this was guaranteed cash, then no one would ever play the closer enclosure. Everyone would play this. But they don't, because it's not. The issue with it is there's 3 invasion points for Black. Black might be able to play here, Black might be able to play here, or Black might be able to play here. And Black's choice of invasion completely depends on the outside situation. So if Black has a stone here, Black's going to choose a different invasion point than if Black gets a stone here. So it's in Black's interest to retain flexibility and to not finish the situation in the corner until he knows which direction. And that's the mistake of this move. It says, oh no, this is where I want to invade. I have no interest, and I never will have interest in those other spots. Well, obviously we don't know that at this point. It's too early in the game. I played there and White Haned. I counter Haned and White played Atari. And at this point, I don't know what my best move is going to be. It may be extending and connecting. It's more likely to be a counter Atari here. But the purpose of the counter Atari is going to be to attack this stone over here. And right now, there's no real attack on that stone because he can do 2-space extension in either direction. So I tanuki'd and took away one of those 2-space extensions. Of course, I would have been better off if I played this to start and not exchange these at all. The next move White played was here, and this gives me a real opportunity in this game. And it's not a good move, and the reason it's not a good move is it creates 2 weak White groups in the same area of the board. And White would be better off just following the continuation that I showed earlier, this one, and having one group that's not even really that weak, but is working to reduce the value of the thickness. This would be a really good continuation for White at this point. But when White jumped in here, I suspect Nick was thinking that he will have some sacrifice to Sujis to gain some thickness on the outside and some shape and reduce the overall value in the lower right. But when I countered here, this was a nice triple purpose move, because the first thing it says to white is, no, this stone is never connecting to this stone. I'm going to separate you. The second thing it does is it says to this stone, you're captured. Before you could move out, but now that I'm here, you cannot. So, ha. And then the third thing it does is it puts pressure on this stone, and it reduces the number of directions that that stone can run. So I was really happy to get this move. White played here, and I'd be better extending, but I just played Hane, but let's not talk about that for now. And then white started a standard sacrifice sequence. And said to black, I would really like to connect to my other stones on the bottom. And of course I said, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And white threatened to connect underneath. And I decided to go ahead and allow him to connect underneath for two reasons. Number one, I was really short on liberties. And number two is, even if he plays this move, then at some point there's still a cut, which will break him in half. And so it's not good for white. White agreed and moved out that way. And then I went ahead and split the stones. Let's see. White played a forcing move in the corner, and I answered. But already now you can see why the whole ABCD exchange was bad for black. White is getting much more settled in the corner, and I'm losing a lot of opportunity. For white's next move, he went and played this contact play, and I moved back this way, and then white moved out. So now there's a real chance, and I have the opportunity to take a big lead in this game. So for you, as black, where would you play now? Go ahead and pause if you'd like. Okay, let me show you what I actually played, and then explain why it's bad, and show you what would have been better. I played here, which was a bad move, or at least not a good move. It's a little bit submissive. And it says, I really want to save these two stones. I want to make sure this stone can't escape. And at that point, white moved here, which said to black, hey, A, you're not alive yet. You're going to have to run too. So we're both running. So then I played here, and he extended, keeping his connection. I played a knight's move. He made shape. I played Hane, and white is still clearly under attack. I've got this wall, and I am pushing him towards the top, and at least I have an attack going. And I would say that the game is good for black right now, but it could have been great, and let me show how. And it's really, at least to me, is counterintuitive. First of all, if I want to capture this stone, I should do it this way. And this is a better, more positive move because it's taking away liberties on the outside stones, which would come in useful in a fight. So just even locally, my move was slack. But it turns out the best move for black, which I never even considered, is right here. And let me explain why. Because to my eyes, it looks puny. It's like, oh, I'm going to capture a single stone. What's the big deal of that? But it's really, really big. And the lesser reason why it's big is obviously if black gets a Hane here, black's going to start building some points on the bottom. But that's not why this move is really good. This move is incredibly big because it settles A. And now, once black has this, A is settled and is in a great position to attack. Black is strong here. Black is strong here. In other words, black has no weak groups to worry about, and white does. So the whole situation transforms from a fight where we both have running groups to an attack where I get to pick on white from a direction of my choosing. So this is a great example of a move that looks small, but is really, really big. And when I looked at it, I'm actually a little uptight about one particular move. And I'll bet you many of you are as well. I mean, right here, this move, this looks really, really big to me. And I'm thinking that not only is white saving this stone, but he's attacking these two black stones. Well, it's not really much of an attack. Again, the thickness at A comes in useful because black can go ahead and jump out, and if white threatens to cut, black's got a couple moves here to say, no, I'm out. You're not really attacking me. But white's got this horrible shape problem, and white needs to fix it. And then black can come back here. So you can see, once again, the thickness at A is really useful. And black is gaining points in the top center again. Furthermore, this huge white group isn't even alive yet. It's probably got an eye, but it's still probably going to need to run or make a second eye somewhere and isn't making any points. So this way, the game is definitely good for black. But there's another even more interesting approach that black could try. And that is to say, you're threatening these two stones. Well, that's interesting. Well, what if I turn here? Are you still going to try to eat those two stones? And if white says, yeah, I want those two stones, then black can move out here and say, fine, have those two stones. I'll take that trade because I'm capturing 8 stones of yours and a lot more territory. And this way, the game is excellent for black. The funny thing is, I don't tend to see sacrifices like this in my game. And they're there all the time, offering trades. And you can see that this trade is clearly good for black. So what did I learn from this episode? Well, first, this was a bad probe. And in general, you shouldn't probe this large enclosure. And the reason for that is because you have invasion potential. So don't probe what you can invade, okay? And then second, and much more importantly, is this move at B, which looks small, is really huge. And the reason for it is it makes this black group entirely safe. And if black has safe groups all around, then he can have a really devastating attack on white. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.